Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so as I said in my last video, I did homework on the Charlotte Hornets with the understanding that the Lakers played them tomorrow, and then after doing homework on the Charlotte Hornets, I was ready to go to sleep and found out the Lakers played Portland in the very next night after that. These back-to-backs, man, they are not fun to cover, man. They're not fun to cover, and it's too fast. I know we're in a microwave era where a lot of people like things coming at them fast, but as it pertains to digesting sports, I don't know that that's a good thing, especially when you consider how trends carry over from one night to the next. A guy could be cold the night, and then tomorrow you got him playing 24 hours. He's still cold, man. You have enough of those clusters in concession, all of a sudden you're on a 6-game losing streak. And I think that really affects seeding in a way that maybe the NBA would prefer it not to. I think they should spread out these games, leave us less back-to-backs in general, and put a little more emphasis on the ability to slot games in for circumstances that are unforeseen, because they got hit with that a lot this year with the LA fires, and I think something else as well. It was some Midwest hurricane or something like that. And because they had condensed these games by way of the schedule naturally, they made it very difficult. It made it very difficult to slot games in. So I think they need to kind of give a little more credence to the importance of that going forward, so that you don't have teams playing 5 games in 6 nights and stuff like that, because that's really, really taxing on the body. And since we want to be very cautious in regards to keeping people healthy, I think it makes all the sense in the world to not have situations where if something natural happens in a certain city, now all of a sudden you got to slot a game into your schedule that is ultimately slapped next to a back-to-back or slapped next to a 4 games in 5 nights type of situation. So they think so much about bringing forth the irony of certain matchups. Guy gets traded here, now he has to be on national TV. Kid get drafted there versus another kid that get drafted there, so now we got to have them playing. It's like when you have so much credence on the irony of scheduling and trying to make sure that your marquee games are on television, they got to take into account that a lot of that stuff gets blown up by the fact that certain players are going to sit any damn way. Injuries are going to kind of throw some of that away, so you might as well not put so much credence into that. You can have it so that such and such plays such and such, but guess what? Neither one of them dudes playing because they both hurt. Why? Because they played 5 games in the last 6 nights, and they got injured in that process. So it's like, I just think the NBA, once again, we talked about this in the previous video, it's too centered around gimmicks. They schedule around gimmicks. The All-Star game format is gimmicky. The implementation of tournament play is gimmicky. There's too much gimmicky stuff, and not enough is being taken into account in regards to player safety, things that make sense for the athlete and their body, and travel. A lot of that stuff is getting tossed aside so that you can have such and such team play such and such team because somebody got traded there last week. I mean, it's just, it makes it so very difficult to digest, so very difficult to cover if you're a fan of someone like myself. Obviously for the players and the coaches, difficult to game plan and play. The gimmick crap needs to go. And that has been the conversation on this channel ever since the All-Star game. And this video obviously is going that same direction. Gimmick crap got to go. Watching players standing around in the All-Star game, I didn't talk too much about that. It was an undertone in regards to the conversation, because clearly they had so much going on with ads. Clearly the TNT celebration also took time. But what we didn't take into account is how bad that is for the athlete, who needs to stay fresh, who needs to be able to stay stretched, who needs to, whose bodies are used to routine and things like that. We talk about guys like Russell Westbrook when he was first asked to play off the bench, and how that affected him physically. His mind was willing, but the routine was broken, and how that affected him early on in that process. When you have guys standing around in an All-Star game for 12 minutes in between ads and promos and all different types of stuff, it's hard to get them to get ramped back up and ready to play when you have them on such a competitive schedule for so many years. And then all of a sudden, randomly this year, y'all want to throw all types of different gimmicks and stuff like that in there. It throws them off. And You open the door for injuries. You open the door for a lot of different types of poor play, just off of the strength of the athlete having been thrown off so much by those who don't understand athleticism in any way, but do understand how to make money and how to ultimately garner attention, for which they're failing at any damn way. And so that's something that needs to be said. The presence of all these gimmicks often ignore the needs of the athlete, ignores the needs of and the betterment of the athlete. And so that's what we're saying right now. I just want to put that in my content so that you guys understand that I understand that too. When you see Kevin Durant hanging on the rim, stretching his arms, while Kenny the Jet Smith and Charles Barkley are talking to Kevin Hart, I mean, you understand that there's a failure taking place. Something has gone completely wrong. And so that's what I want to say. I just feel like the NBA at this point would be very wise to consider incorporating athletic logic into the scheduling, into the implementation of changes. Because if we're going to be pro health of the athlete and try to preserve the ability for them to perform, you don't want that to go to only a point. You want to take that all the way. And so that's all that we've been talking about. But, I just want to reiterate something just because it's necessary to reiterate. I just really want this Adam Silver era to go away, man. I want it to go away. The fullness of it. He started off really well. I was really excited about him. But now we see what he was trying to do over the course of the time he's been there. God, it's been awful. He's ruined the league, man. He's really ruined the league. It's bad. The product has changed so much, but not good change. The only thing that I believe is good product as it pertains to changes that have been implemented, truly, is the play-in tournament at the end of the season. I like that change. The rest of the stuff that he's thrown in, including the in-season tournament, which it's hit or miss for me. I don't really care to watch it, to be honest with you. I don't like all of these changes. I don't really like none of these changes. Ruining the All-Star game with different formatting each year. Can't never get used to anything. I don't like it, man. Monotonous is good. And I just wish that we had a commissioner that valued history and how the players of today deserve to have themselves measured against that history, man. And hopefully other leagues understand this as well. Learn from what the NBA has done. They put an asterisk on all of the players in the modern era with all of the changes that they've made, working against the history of the game and the ways that they measured back then. You can't measure these players against those people. You ruin them forever in that regard. And so that's something I just wanted to say, man. I think this Adam Silver era needs to go bye-bye. I don't think he's good for this league anymore. And I don't think I'm alone on that. I think there are a lot of people who agree with me when I say that. So I'll leave it at that. My name is BDF44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.